In this video, we'll be traveling to Glacier National Park in Montana, where we are going to see some great views and some amazing wildlife. Okay, so right now we're on our way to our first destination, which is Spokane, as we head out to Glacier National Park. One thing I wanted to showcase was kind of the transition you see when traveling in Washington State. Kind of the normal vision of Washington State, if you've never been here, is that of like lush forest that we're in right now. But the reality is, Western Washington is very much so like that. It's a rainforest essentially. But when you kind of cross over the mountains that stretch from northern Washington all the way to southern Washington, you enter desert in eastern Washington. So we're going to kind of show you the transition from forested area to more of the desert out in eastern Washington. We're here in Spokane so that Bree can work later. And we're just kind of checking out the sights. They have a pretty cool river walk. We ran it this morning. It goes pretty far down, seemingly just miles of trails. So we're going to check out what else they have. Behind me is a structure that was built for the International Exposition on the Environment. It was in 1974. It was kind of this first international exposition that was focused on the environment, so a World's Fair of sorts, just focused on environment, conservation, things like that. But pretty cool structure. So we're in Riverfront Park, and we just had a kind of a local give us the rundown of this place. It used to be the kind of a train yard for the area, kind of a skid row as he put it, and then they put in a ton of effort into developing it into a park, and that is actually what kind of inspired that World Fair, that 1974 World Fair, to come here. And I guess it was maybe like a blueprint for other cities to kind of develop rundown areas into green spaces. And this park's really neat. It's over 100 acres apparently, and just really clean, very, very beautiful. Not really what I was expecting at all for Spokane. Spokane gets kind of a bad rep from where we're from, so interesting to see it. Not what I expected at all. So this part of the park is dedicated to the hydroelectric power of the region. Spokane was kind of at the forefront of harnessing hydroelectric power, and there's all these dams running the Spokane River up to Coeur d'Alene. Kind of gives the history behind it, and some of the artwork in this part of the park is just out of the old equipment they used. Alright, so we have pretty much wrapped up our short trip to Spokane. Only here like half a day, but we were able to spend most of it on the Riverwalk. So you can definitely spend quite a bit of time there, but as the day got on, it got really hot. It's like low 90s right now, so definitely if you're staying here longer, find some more indoor activities to do later in the day. We'll probably be back here again. If you have any recommendations on things to see in the future, let us know. But yeah, definitely, you know, better than I was expecting, but really only saw a small portion of Spokane. But we're heading out to Glacier now, so we will show you anything interesting we see along the way, or if we make any stops, we might show you that. Check out a free trout aquarium, best shake ever.
They'll say Montana's best shake ever.
So we're here at Glacier. We're at the Logan Pass Visitor Center. This is probably the most popular spot to start off in Glacier, and you can kind of see the background around me. It's a pretty stunning view, 360. But we got here at like 7 a.m. Parking lot was almost full, so if you're coming here, make sure you get here early, otherwise might not be a spot. It's a 3-hour parking limit though, so cars should be filtering in and out all day. But we're gonna do the Hidden Lake Overlook Trail to start, and we'll show you some sights along that trail. Glacier National Park is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. If you're unfamiliar with UNESCO, it is a branch of the United Nations that kind of designates things around the world as scientifically or culturally significant that should be protected. So if you're traveling throughout the world, you can find UNESCO World Heritage Sites and learn a little bit more about the culture of that area. So Glacier National Park has a pretty short time window of when it's very accessible, and you can kind of see why here. It's mid-July and this trail's still pretty snowed over. That road we drove up was going to the Sun Road, and even now we saw plenty of ice, plenty of snow on the way up, so it's pretty reasonable to think you know, by September, and then even in May they're probably still getting snow, so it takes a while for it all to melt and for parts of the park like this to be accessible. She's dressed like a minion. A couple of goats over here.
Oh my gosh, you didn't tell me there's one right here.
Yeah, I said go action.
Rude. You should let me enjoy.
Alright, we're at our destination for now. We were supposed to hike all the way to the bottom, to this lake, but it is closed for bear activity, so you know, that's fair, but still a great view. All right, now we are heading out to St. Mary's Falls. And St. Mary?
St. Mary?
St. Mary Falls.
St. Mary Lake.
This is Lake St. Mary. And there's waterfalls. A lot more chill on this trail, not nearly as many people. A lot hotter than I was expecting to. Really warm, but you can see the lake here, all that water from glacial runoff, really nice blue color. Alright, heading over to Virginia Falls now. St. Mary was nice, but pretty crowded, but I mean, as soon as you go by it, there's nobody. So, short hike over to that and a little less crowded. We're just resting in this spot by the waterfall, and the mist coming off makes the air like 20 degrees cooler. Feel good? Yeah, it's much better over here. Alright, so we are up in the northern part of the park. We are near Many Glacier Hotel, and we are doing the Swift, what is it? Swift Current Loop Trail. And so far pretty nice. We're surrounded by some wildflowers, and then also kind of surrounded by mountains, so we'll kind of show off what we see. So we're up in the northern portion of the park, but it keeps going, and it keeps going up into Canada. Technically this is the Waterton Lakes Glacier National Park. Waterton Lakes is the Canadian branch or name for the parks up in Canada, and then Glacier is the part in the US. It's known as an international peace park. This actually might have been the first one ever where two countries kind of work together to coordinate the conservation of the land, and kind of having a joint park. All the water here is super clear, and the rocks are something I've never really seen before. A ton of different colors. Just makes the water, the rivers really beautiful. You can kind of see in looking at this cliffside, kind of where the different colored rocks in the river are coming from. You can definitely see kind of a clear distinction as you go down of that red into a little bit more purplish, grayish, but really neat to kind of see like those colored rocks in the rivers and see that variation in the mountains and kind of make that connection. Alright, we are now at Lake McDonald, where we kind of started the day in Glacier, just kind of hanging out. We did a lot of miles today hiking, so just gonna hang out by the lake for a while. Alright, we are back in Glacier, day 2, and we're gonna see if we can rent a boat. Legs are pretty tired. Not sure if we want to do too much hiking, so we're gonna check out some activities by the lake. Ahoy, you scurvy sea dogs! We got a boat. Alright, so yeah, this is Lake McDonald. It's the longest lake in the park. It's about 10 miles long. You can rent boats, you can rent kayaks, paddle boards. The boat was around $50 an hour, so we sprung for the faster option. It's a glacial lake. It was carved out by glaciers, so really, really deep in the middle, shallow on the outsides. There's a few bald eagles nests along the shoreline, so maybe we'll be able to see some of those. The eagles' nests are somewhere in this tree line, so we're just keeping an eye out for those. You can see a ton of deadwood standing up above these trees. I'm guessing a forest fire came through and killed all the trees that are standing taller than these smaller pines. I'm just surprised how many are just standing. Probably would have been pretty eerie before this new growth started coming in with just acres and acres of these standing dead trees. We found one nest up in here. Hard to see from the GoPro. But we're trying to see with the camera if we can zoom in on it. The key to finding bald eagles in kind of this area or more tree areas is to look for golf balls. So you're not going to see their full body from a distance, but obviously they have their iconic white head. So really you're just kind of scanning the tree line for golf balls. If you see something that kind of looks like a golf ball, that's probably a bald eagle. Really just helps you kind of narrow your vision and know what you're looking for. Rather than looking for an eagle, look for what makes them stand out, what makes them so iconic, which is that bald white head.
All right, looks like we found an eagle. There's its nest down here, and then it's perched right up there. They told us its name is either ketchup or mustard. I think this is mustard.
We just wrapped up. That was at Glacier Park Boat Company, if you want to check that out. They also do kayaks and paddle boards. Really nice people, super informative. They'll tell you about the lake, kind of where to go, what to see. Yeah, did you have fun?
I did have fun.
All right, I think with the rest of our day, we're just gonna hang out at the beach here. And not many people around, so this is a pretty good spot. Cold spot.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna be heading out now. I had about half a day to kill here before we started heading back, so I think we made the right call, just chilling out by the lake, taking a boat out. But we'll show you anything we see along the way back to Spokane. Montana's regional thing seems to be huckleberries, which are a cross between like a blueberry and a blackberry. It's pretty good. We got these huckleberry shakes.
But there's huckleberry everything, like huckleberry burgers, huckleberry syrup, huckleberry sodas, which we had, which are pretty good. It's good. That's about all I can say for it, but it's kind of nice.
I hope you enjoyed this video. We're going to be posting hopefully 2 videos a month for the foreseeable future, one longer form like this and one shorter.